Welcome to another startup and complete car documentation. What we have here is a 2012 Nissan Juke SL all-wheel drive. This Juke is painted in the white pearl exterior color. It does have intelligent key access to the front two doors. And on the key fob you have the buttons for lock, unlock, and panic. The front door panels have storage with bottle holders, and it does have power, windows, locks, and mirrors. It has a black interior, and the SL trim adds leather seat upholstery. Both front seats are manually adjusted. But now that we're behind the wheel, let's go ahead and start the engine. And along with intelligent key, it also has push-button ignition. The Nissan Juke came onto the scene back in 2011, well over a decade ago, and at the time it exceptionally stood out from the crowd, as it came out years before many of the subcompact crossovers that many of us know today. Nowadays, subcompact crossovers are everywhere, having exploded in popularity in America in recent years. But when the Juke came out, it seemed like more of an odd niche vehicle, being a high-riding, daringly styled SUV with a small footprint of a subcompact car. That's why some people nowadays refer to the Juke as ahead of its time. Indeed, the Juke definitely seems to have pioneered the subcompact crossover segment. The Juke is currently in its second generation, but the second-gen Juke is only offered in Europe. Elsewhere, Nissan replaced the Juke with an all-new model called the Nissan Kicks. This 2012 model we have here represents the first generation of the Juke, codenamed F15, which was produced in the US from model years 2011 through 2017, and is also the only generation of the Juke to be sold in the US. When it came out, Nissan was marketing it as the bold urban sport cross. It definitely had a look that stood out, and included unusual styling cues inside and out. For instance, the center console area, with its gloss-painted bezel, was intended to mimic the fuel tank of a motorcycle. For 2015, the Juke did receive a mid-cycle refresh, making this 2012 a pre-facelift model. Eventually, Nissan introduced a sporty Nismo variant of the Juke, but that's not as crazy as the Juke R. With said Juke R, Nissan took a Juke and stuffed the twin-turbo V6 from the Nissan GT-R supercar into it. No joke, a handful of these ludicrous machines were actually built. But anyhow, the US market 2012 model year Nissan Juke was offered in 3 trim levels: the base S, the mid-range SV, and the range-topping SL like this one. One engine was offered across the range, which was a 1.6-liter Turbo 4 making 188 horsepower. As for transmissions, depending on the trim, you could choose between either a 6-speed manual or a CVT automatic. Available drivetrains included either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, the latter of which is what this Juke has. All-wheel drive models are also automatic only. In Nissan's US 2012 crossover lineup, the subcompact Juke was the smallest, slotting below the compact Rogue. In the instrument cluster, we have 2 analog gauges, which are your tachometer and speedometer, with the rest being located in this digital info display, which you can also go through via this button right here. Your trip computers, average MPG, distance to empty, that kind of stuff. It has a 3-spoke designed, leather-wrapped, and multifunctional steering wheel, Leather on the sides is perforated. You also have sport grips. And as for controls, on this side you have your cruise control. And then on this side you got your audio controls, along with your hands-free phone and voice command controls. The steering wheel is tilt only. Right here are your power mirror controls. You've got your traction control toggle, and with this switch you can choose between your different all-wheel drive modes. There's two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive V, and then just all-wheel drive. Climate vent for the driver. On this side you have your exterior lighting stock, and on this side is your wiper stock. So going down the center of the interior, you have your hazard switch, passenger airbag indicator, your central climate vents, and right here is your radio head unit / infotainment system with a touchscreen. We'll go over that more in a bit. From there, you'll find a set of single-zone automatic climate controls with a surprisingly large display screen. You have a 12-volt power outlet, a little bit of storage, and then you have a USB port and an aux port. Putting it in reverse does reveal a backup camera. The parking brake is hand operated. Then you have two cup holders. And on the SL trim you get two-stage heated front seats. A little bit of storage for the rear passengers. Both sun visors do have vanity mirrors. Manually dimming rear view. Got your overhead lighting. And you also have a power sunroof on this one. And it is one-touch auto in both directions. And here is the touchscreen infotainment system that we get. Now a lot of it still is old school physical controls. This is an old, it's a 10-year-old system, but this is what we got in the loaded out SL Trimlevel Juke, which you got quite a bit back then. You got nav, heated leather seats, a sunroof, so smart key. So it was pretty nice stuff to have. So there's the navigation map. Then you have your different sources. You have AM, FM, along with Sirius XM plus a CD player. Various settings. Not all that much to this system, but the touchscreen still works pretty good for being as old as it is. And there are grab handles for the front passenger and rear passengers. But now we'll go ahead and roll down the driver's window and take a look at the engine bay. The driver's window is automatic down. It rides on a set of 17-inch 5 split-spoke alloy rims. The US market 2012 Nissan Juke is powered by Nissan's MR16 DDT 1.6-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine. It's an all-aluminum power plant with dual overhead camshafts, 4 valves per cylinder, direct injection, and variable valve timing. Horsepower is rated at 188 at 5,600 RPM, while torque is rated at 177 pound-feet from 2,000 to 5,200 RPM. The transmission in this one is Nissan's Xtronic CVT automatic with virtual manual shiftability, and this Juke comes with the available torque vectoring all-wheel drive system. Premium fuel is recommended, and with an 11.8-gallon fuel tank, updated EPA estimates for a Juke like this one are 25 mpg in the city and 29 mpg on the highway. It has a McPherson strut front suspension, and all-wheel drive models have a multi-link rear suspension. Stopping the Juke are four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated front rotors. Curb weight for this one would be roughly 3,200 pounds. You have integrated rear door handles. The rear door panels also get bottle holders. (60/40) split folding rear seats. The front passenger seat does have a storage pocket on the back. Rear passengers do get a little area of storage right here. Grab handles and a coat hook on this side. But space back here, so I'm about 6'1", and I've got the driver's seat in a comfortable position, driving position for myself. Now, I remember when these came out around 2011. I remember as a kid going into showrooms and checking these out, and I even remember back then the back seats were small. That was one of the notable things about this thing. It was pretty small. So, as you can see, my legs are pushing up against the seat. I can ride back here. It's not like the most uncomfortable thing in the world. It's a subcompact crossover, and this is one of the earliest ones that we saw in North America. I know nowadays we got the Honda HR-V, every Toyota CHR, Jeep Renegade, like every major brand has one now, but I know, remember when the Juke came out, it was known for being a quirky vehicle. Single exhaust, rear wiper. The Juke offers 10.5 cubic feet of cargo space with the back seats up. You can fold down the rear seats, which will expand cargo space to 35.9 cubic feet. And this one does have a premium Rockford Fosgate sound system with the subwoofer right there. Like I said, fully loaded SL trim. There's spare in there. Anyhow, thanks for checking out this tour of this 2012 Nissan Juke. And as always, stay on the lookout for future tours.